lie. They refuse to look at well, you don't know about America, but they refuse to look at the dark side of America. They just love it. There's nothing wrong with this innocent love of your country, except when it's in trouble. It's of no help. It's of no use. You have to know why you love it. Then there's another group of people that think America is just nothing but a greedy, evil empire. Now these people, they just hate it for for no reason. Not all of them. They just hate it. But do they know? Are they willing to look at the good side? You know that Frederick Douglass, he hated the Constitution. He thought the Constitution was a bad thing. He thought it enslaved people until he read it. Then he came out and he had to apologize. And he said, my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. That is honest questioning. Then I think there's a small percentage, I don't know, maybe it's growing, maybe 30% of people in America that just live here and they don't care. They could be in Sweden, they could be in Canada. They don't care. They're apathetic. They're clueless. Those people are trouble because you got to believe in something. They'll just swing with the wind. I think the good news is there's a growing segment of people out there who are following me on a journey and following others on a journey, and they're learning. They're learning history. And they understand that America was not perfect and is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Do you feel it? You're coming out of your childlike love for America, and you're becoming an adult. You can recognize, yes, horrible things have happened in this country. But you can also recognize with a better understanding of the good things that happen. You realize that America had bad mistakes in its past, but it's still the best thing out there. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't in one of the first groups. I was in the last groups. Well, there's an important part of history. An important part of history that I hadn't really looked at. And it is the whole civil rights thing, because you think you know what it is. You think. You've heard the stories. I mean, some guy signed a document on a certain date, and, you heard about the men who risked being publicly hanged or losing their homes and their families. They lost every dime they had. Then you've heard stories about slavery. Then you heard stories about the chance of freedom and Abraham Lincoln. History is a story of individuals all throughout time. But until you start to connect those stories and look for patterns, and the pattern is man's struggle to be free from an oppressor, whether it is Jews in Egypt or the Americans against the British or the African Americans against the slave owner. History is not a collection of dates and names. It is the story of who we are, who we were, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, how did America, the people we are now, arrive here? Well, I believe it was through divine providence. But I also believe it's through manifest destiny. If you think those two things are the same, they're not. Divine providence and manifest destiny. One is good, one is really, really evil. You see, I happen to believe in good and evil. I believe in God and Satan. You may not. You may just think good and bad. But if you do, will you go with me down this road for a second? Have you ever noticed that Satan never destroys things? He instead perverts them. He corrupts them. He corrupts the soul. Dare I say, fundamentally transforms things. He didn't go in. He could have gone in and tried to pulverize Adam and Eve, kill them. But he didn't. He didn't. No, he instead tricked them. He deceived them and allowed them to corrupt themselves. Manifest destiny is a perversion of divine providence. Let me show you. This is my theory we're working on in the next couple of days. Here's my theory. My theory is, when a man tries to live in accordance with nature's God and nature's law, as it's spelled out in the Declaration of Independence, and works for the betterment of man and the individual, that free you, God helps. However, When man seeks power and riches by using nature's God or nature's laws in conjunction with others seeking the same power and riches, God withdraws and evil masquerades as good. It's the perversion. Pervert it. So, divine providence happened here. This is what was happening in America between 1740 and 1830. The beginning of the end, I think, was Andrew Jackson. This is a theory. Right now there's history professors like, I don't know, hey, what? We'll get into Andrew Jackson at some other date. Oh yeah, it'll be another ratings bonanza. Until the founders started dying off, they recognized what they had accomplished, and they recognized that it wasn't because of them. George Washington, they all said things like this. Washington said, "No people can be bound to acknowledge and adore the invisible hand which conducts the affairs of men more than those of the United States." They all said something like that God had a hand in it. Why? Divine providence works like this. You just try to do the right thing. You try to live your life. You're just trying to make the world a better place. But just with you, you're trying to do, and all of a sudden you'll start to see people, you'll start gathering people. And then somebody will say, "Did you see that? How did that happen?" That's a miracle. That's that's divine providence. That's God helping you along. Manifest destiny is get out of my way or the highway, because I'm on a mission from God. That is manifest destiny. That's Woodrow Wilson. That's Andrew Jackson. That's not George Washington. It's different. Now, Jackson, I want you to understand, manifest destiny wasn't named manifest destiny until 1845, but Andrew Jackson, I think, was the seed. He was the guy throwing the seeds in the ground. Manifest destiny, it's less of walking humbly and praying for guidance. It's mission from God stuff. We're doing it whether you like it or not. Manifest destiny. It was used to justify some unbelievably horrible things to people, such as Native Americans. Native Americans. Here's a book. This one's from 1885. This talks about the mysterious similarities between mounds in America, Indians, and the Chinese. This one says that there are similarity to ancient artifacts from other parts of the world and the American Indian, but they have no idea what it even means. This one is ancients. This one's from 1883, I think, 1891. This one is just about how the Indians are ancient. They're not savages. But most of this stuff was erased and hidden. And I'm going to show you some things in a few minutes that will boggle your mind. Get ready to flex your American knowledge muscles. And oh yeah, manifest destiny helped justify the expansion into the West. Why? What does this mean? You know what this is? You might remember this in history books as a kid. This is Columbia. Here she has the wire, and they're laying the railroad, and they're moving out west. Okay? This is manifest destiny. God is leading the way. Well, who did they take the land from? How did this all happen? It's the same formula. I've been looking for the last, I don't know, few years for patterns in history. Show me the patterns, because they always repeat themselves. History repeats itself, so what are the patterns? Well, here's the recipe for transformation. And this is either a good thing, this half is bad. This can be a really good thing. When a country has science, for instance, Ben Franklin, huge into science. He was the leading scientist in the world in his day. Government, this is Thomas Jefferson. Commerce, Alexander Hamilton. Religion was Sam Adams. When you combine these things and they're checks on each other, you're okay. But once these things start to collude for power, that's manifest destiny, and it is evil. When you have, for instance, the government wanting to expand, Commerce saying, well, we're going to expand too because we need to make more money. We need more land. And you get the scientists to confirm that Native Americans are just savages. And religion. Religion